So here's what I've noticed in my research. There's 6 qualities of top-notch warriors have. 6 qualities. Or maybe I should say 6 signs of a rising warrior. When I see these signs, the more of these signs I see in an individual, the more I realize this is a champion in the making. 6 signs. You say, well, why couldn't it be 7? Because 6 is a number of man. And as we go through these, you're going to find out exactly how human we all are. Man's not our future. Our leaders aren't our future. I remember when I was younger, I was in a church and I was on a non-paid staff position at a very large church, and I kept wondering if this man would just mention my name publicly, my ministry would be launched overnight. And you know what? He never mentioned my name, not once. At least not publicly, and behind the scenes, if he did, it probably wasn't good. I depended on him. And I learned along the way, no man is our source. So, first quality, first sign of a rising warrior. They grow, and notice I don't say they start out having. They grow to have an innate knowledge that they were born for such a time as this. That doesn't mean that you don't get frustrated with what happens in your daily life. It doesn't mean that you don't get tired of cycles in your life. It doesn't mean that everything that happens to you is great. It means that no matter what is going on around you, you have an understanding, I was put here for this. Jesus said, my soul's exceedingly troubled, but what should I do? Say, Father, take me from this hour. It's for this very hour I came into this world. We need to have that type of view. It is for this hour I was put into this world. That Acts 17, 26 through 28 is not just a fable. It is true that from one blood he has made every nation of man, and he has determined the exact time you would live. That it's true. People who are rising champions have an understanding. They may not know how it all works. They just know, I'm here. God planned it. I'm here by design. My arrival on this earth was planned by God. And God has designed me to accomplish what he has asked me to do. I'm designed to accomplish it. I'm designed to do something, and probably nobody can do it better than me. I'm not the key to everything, but the slice of pie that I have, I'm designed to do that slice of pie. There must be no doubt in the heart of the warrior that God will back him up when it's time to battle. Your battle may not be with witches like mine, or with New Age gurus like mine, or in environments like mine. That may not be your battle. Your battle may be with your boss. Your battle may be with your brother-in-law. Your battle may be with your parents, because they may not believe like you believe. But whatever the battle is, you have been designed to rule over it and to conquer it. And that knowledge, that understanding, only comes through consistent abiding in God. You have to know his ways in order to know him. The only way you're going to know his ways is to spend time with him, recognize why he did and how he did what just happened to you. So the recognition that God, in his incredible omniscience, knew exactly what was needed at this time in society and created you to achieve a purpose that you alone can do best. You're created with the look you have. You're created with the hair you have, or lack of it. You're created with the eyes you have. You're created with the height you have. You're created with the size of shoes you wear. Why? All to achieve the purpose for which God put you here. See, everything about you is created to influence. Everything about you is created to influence. Now, it doesn't mean you influence the president. It doesn't mean you influence a senator or a congressman necessarily. It may mean that you influence your next door neighbor and 6 other people down the block. But you were created to influence, and the world is better because of you, especially if you achieve your purpose. The world is better because of you. Sign number 2 of a rising warrior. They have an unfailing belief that God will prepare them. And they also have this understanding, it may not be like I think it will be. God has this way of not operating within my boundaries. And I think he will do it. I think he'll prepare me like this, but then I have been around long enough to know he often prepares me like that. 2 totally different sides of the coin. 2 totally different frames of what happens, but I have been around long enough to also recognize this, that the side he chose was the better side. And the results that came forth from it were better than what I could have achieved if he had done it my way. So they had this unbelieving faith that God will prepare them. They don't. The problem is this. The quality that makes people want to become a warrior also makes them think they can get there on their own. Yeah, God's called me. I can do it. Notice, I can do it. There is the key to the failure. I can do it. You see, they think they have to take control of the moment. Moses thought he had to kill the Egyptian who was breaking his people. Jacob thought he had to deceive Isaac, his father, to get the birthright. Joseph thought he had to control and tell his brothers all of his dreams so that they would respect him. And when the day came for them to work with him, that they would submit to him. These warriors, what I've noticed about them is that they all think that they can control it in the beginning. But all champions start that way. And that doesn't discourage me about them. Only real champions can realize, though, that God is about to call them to do something they're totally incapable of doing. When God said to Moses, we're going to take you out of Egypt, and by the way, I'm going to take you into a land, there's 10 nations there that you're going to face, and I just ought to remind you, 3 of them are way, way better than you. 3 of them are stronger than you. 3 of them are mightier than you. 3 of them, it's absolutely impossible for you to defeat them. So I want you to conquer all of them. God immediately will take us out and can make us come face to face with that which is stronger than us. Sometimes it takes a battle. Sometimes that takes 100 battles, depending on how stubborn and self-sufficient you are. So God keeps bringing things in front of us that we're absolutely incapable of handling. And we tend to go through cycles. So we'll think that we can do it, and then all of a sudden we get whooped in the process of it, and then we blame it on the devil. Like the devil defeated God. Not recognizing that it was really God who allowed it to happen so that our self-sufficiency would come to an end. Never dawning on us that it was the arrogance of Joseph that landed him in prison. Could Joseph have gotten to Egypt any other way? Absolutely. I mean, all they had to do was go on a trip to Egypt, and oh, by the way, he interpreted somebody's dream, and they said, man, you got to see Pharaoh. Boom, boom, boom. Did he have to go to prison to do it? Did he have to be falsely accused by Potiphar's wife to do it? Did he have to be forgotten about to do it? No. But arrogance caused Joseph to have to spend time in prison. And you know what? Only when he would no longer kill his brothers for what they did he get promoted. Until his word came to pass, that prophecy that God gave Joseph, the dreams that God gave him, this incredible prophetic word that God himself gave to Joseph, until that word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him. But here's what the Jewish Publication Society Bible says, how they interpret that passage. Much more literal. Here's what it says. Until his prediction over his life came to pass, the decree of the Lord purged him. Now, purged him. You see, we start out with a prophetic word thinking it's going to happen day after tomorrow. And the reality is this, that prophetic word, the only way that God gets glory from a prophetic word is when it's impossible for you to accomplish it. Therefore, when you accomplish it, everybody goes, there's no way he did that. That was God. So what does God do? God begins to remove everything in you that would stop that word from coming to pass.